Okay, good afternoon everyone. I'm Mr. Howard Yu from One Academy. Today we are revising or reviewing this worksheet. It's actually the prelim paper of this school that we are analyzing. So I hope that you can continue with my training because the next week will be the last session. So today is the 17th of September 2022. Okay, let's see this question. It says answer of Rulang Primary School conducted an experiment to determine if the amount of light. So I want to highlight this part. If the amount of light would affect the depth of the earthworm that would move into the soil after a day. So this is the aim of the experiment. You can annotate the aim of the experiment. So he used this thing to set up. So this is the result. Okay, can you see the pattern here? As the amount of light increases, the average depth of the soil where the earthworm were found after a day increases. Okay, why is this so? Because as you know, earthworm do not like light. Earthworm do not like light. So if you have a higher intensity of light, they try to escape by tunneling deeper into the soil. So this is a phenomenon. So they say based on the above result, state the relationship between the amount of light and the average depth of the soil. So it's very easy. You just mention as the amount of light increases, the average depth of the soil where the earthworm were found also increases. Very simple. So this one is just give away free marks. FOC. Free marks. So this is just to test your observation skill. Okay, so you write down this answer. Okay, this part. As the amount of light increases, the average depth of the soil where the earthworms were found after a day increases. Okay. Next. For the roots of the plant to grow healthily, the soil must be suitable for their development. How do earthworms help to ensure that the soil is suitable for the development? So as you know, earthworm actually is friends to the farmers. So the earthworms will move through the soil, creating tunnels which will help loosen the soil and create more space for the roots to grow. Okay, so this is the answer for this part. I will repeat here. So this is the answer. The earthworm would move through the soil, creating tunnels which will help loosen the soil and create space for the soil to grow. So I will do is, for those who are familiar with me, I will screenshot this and I'll send to you when I pause the recording. Okay, so this part taken care of. Okay, next part. Okay, I give you about 10 more seconds to take a look. What I send to the student, because one of the student does not have the share file function. So I need to enable your file sharing so that you can receive the answer key screenshots. Okay, so I progress to the next question, also from the same school. The table below shows two processes. Okay, these two processes in which carbon dioxide can be added or removed from the air. So can you see this part? Amount of carbon dioxide in the air can be increased by process X. So we only know that this process is respiration and process Y is photosynthesis. So this is also another giveaway. Respiration and photosynthesis. Okay, by the way, there's also another process where you can increase the amount of carbon dioxide in the air. Okay, this process is none other than burning. Okay, this is related to the topic on global warming because as you know, the burning of fossil fuels contributes to more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and this will accelerate global warming. Okay, next question. Some trees in the forest have died due to prolonged exposure. So I want to underline this part. prolonged exposure to acid rain. Prolonged means at an extended period of time. What is acid rain? Very simple. Acid rain is formed when generally sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide emitted by heavy industries get dissolved in the rain. So when it get dissolved in the rain, they will form this weak acid called sulfuric acid due to the dissolve of sulfur dioxide, and nitric acid due to the dissolve of nitrogen dioxide. So explain how the loss of trees can lead to global warming. Okay, this one you got to think in a reverse manner. Okay, how does the loss of trees lead to global warming? So I teach you this method. So when the trees die, right, that means there's lesser chances for the carbon dioxide to be absorbed, right? Right, that means this will lead to more carbon dioxide remaining in the atmosphere. Okay, there's one property you must state for this question. Because carbon dioxide traps heat. Okay, carbon dioxide traps heat. So you can say that, because this is a 2-mark question, take note. So you must say that due to the loss of trees, right, there will be more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So this additional carbon dioxide will contribute to global warming. Okay, so I teach you a shorter method to present your answer, because in exam you need to be very concise. Okay, so this is one of the methods. Okay, you mentioned in this way. Okay, fewer trees will take in carbon dioxide, resulting in more carbon dioxide in the air to trap more heat. So you put in one more property. Carbon dioxide traps heat. Okay, this is the property of carbon dioxide, leading to global warming. Carbon dioxide traps heat, comma, leading to global warming. Okay, so you add in this part. Okay, fewer trees will take in carbon dioxide, resulting in more carbon dioxide in the air to trap more heat. Okay, so same thing, I will screenshot this and send to you shortly. Okay, next question. Okay, this question I wanted to take especially care in answering, because many students, they are not careful in their observation skill. They lost careless marks to this 10Q. Okay, you notice 10Q had this additional thing called the floating plants. Okay, some of the floating plants that we have learned are duckweeds, water hyacinth. Okay, some of these plants, they can float. So they do not have attached roots. So as they are being carried by the waves or the movement of the water. So this experiment was set up as shown. Jocelyn placed some plant X. So plant X is here. These are submerged aquatic plants, fully underwater. Okay, she added floating plants only in 10Q. So that's why I asked you to annotate this part. By annotating, you will remind yourself to take special care of the floating plants. Okay, the volume and temperature of water in both setups were kept the same. So these are the variables that have been set to constant, temperature and volume. So they ask you, the oxygen sensor in 10Q, which is here, detected a higher amount of oxygen. Why was it so? 1 mark. So as you know that this one is actually kept. The other thing is this part. Glass allows most light to pass through because it is transparent. So in the process of photosynthesis, the floating plant release oxygen, which are being detected by the oxygen sensor. Whereas you see in tank P, right, although the plant underwater in both sides carry out photosynthesis, but the oxygen is being dissolved in the water and is being consumed by the fish because the fish respire. So the oxygen produced by the submerged aquatic plants is being taken in by the fish. Whereas the floating plants, when they photosynthesize, the oxygen produced is being detected by the oxygen sensor. So that makes the difference. Okay, so you must understand this. So in terms of presenting the answer, I'm teaching you a short and sweet method. Okay, you should say the plant in okay, let me see. That is 33B. Okay, you notice this question. I actually removed the part A. Part A is not there. Part A is here, okay? Yeah, part A is here. Part B is here, okay? I didn't remove, so it's correct, yeah. Because I want to just show you the important questions to minimize the time. Okay, this part. So you see, tank Q had floating plants, while tank P did not. Thus, the floating plants in tank Q also produces oxygen when photosynthesizing, yeah, or during photosynthesis. Maybe say during easier, during photosynthesis. During photosynthesis. During photosynthesis, thus the oxygen sensor detected higher amount. I push off a higher amount of oxygen. Higher amount of oxygen released by the floating plants. Okay, this part. Okay, once again I repeat this part. Okay, let me shift this down. Okay. Tank Q had floating plants, while tank P did not. So you mentioned the difference. Thus, the floating plants in tank Q also produce oxygen during photosynthesis. Thus, the oxygen, therefore, maybe you put therefore. Therefore, the oxygen sensor detected higher amount of oxygen released by the floating plants. Okay, so this part, screenshot and send to you later. Okay, part B, Jocelyn covered the sides of tank Q with black paper. So annotate this part. Okay, black paper. So what does black paper do? Black paper will shield out the light, okay, and left the tank near the window for 2 weeks. The fish was fed daily but died 2 weeks later. Why did the fish die? This is 2 marks. Okay, so 2 marks means you are required to give more detailed answer. Okay, why did the fish die? So this one you got to understand. Okay, because if you put the black paper there, right, they said cover the sides of tank Q. So there's one. That's when they fully shield the thing. Okay, and left the tank near the window for 2 weeks. Cool. So that means this fish, right, the aquatic plant is unable to carry out photosynthesis. Okay, unable to, or maybe not enough photosynthesis, because this part, the top, the glass still allows light to go through. So for this part, you should mention plant X and the floating plants did not have sufficient light to carry out photosynthesis, so did not produce enough oxygen for the fish, so the fish die. Okay, so for this part, I will put it here. Okay, plant X and the floating plants did not have enough light, did not have sufficient light to did not have sufficient light, did not receive Okay, did not receive. Okay, maybe did not receive. Okay. Plant X and the floating plant did not receive sufficient light as the black paper was opaque. So they could not photosynthesize and produce sufficient oxygen. Sufficient oxygen for the fish to respire. For the fish to respire. Hello? Yeah. Okay. One student can't get in to respire and died. Okay, so this part. So this is the answer for this question, which I will do a screenshot now and pause the recording and send over the answer which you need. Okay. So that's all.